Hey folks, how you doing? Welcome to another episode of the Silicon Eve Valli Show, episode 2. My name is Silicon Eve Valli, and we have a phenomenal show for you today, and it is all about Dr. Hank Finkel. He is our guest, the author of the wonderful book, and we'll get into this a little bit later, Am I Still the Ocean? And there's a nice little picture of the book right there. I want to give it the true presentation that it deserves. And this is a brilliant book, guys. I'm going to be completely honest with you, and I'll put it over during the interview. But this is the kind of thought-provoking, but educational and loving book that I think is perfect for a child. Because so often in our world, this is what this book is it is a metaphor using the water cycle on how everything has connections, and it incorporates meditation, it incorporates science, and it also incorporates things to where even a point in time, and we'll see in the interview, where I actually had a very healing moment personally with it. So my gratitude to Dr. Hank for not just coming on the show, but writing this amazing book, which I've shared with my wife, I've shared with my daughter, and even reading it personally to myself. And this is supposed to be a kid's book, so to speak, but it's not. It's definitely more of a family book. And again, it's called Am I Still the Ocean by Dr. Hank Finkel. And the watercolor images that are put by Shannon Haynie on it, who's actually the niece of the good Dr. Hank Finkel. The book's absolutely brilliant. But definitely check it on Amazon.com. You can get a really good deal on it, and it is worth every penny. And actually, honestly, it is worth a lot more than that. So do yourself a favor. Check out Am I Still the Ocean by Dr. Hank Finkel. That's coming up. But I wanted to kind of share a nice little funny story. My daughter and I have a beautiful little girl, Silicon Eve Valli. Everyone knows her. I'm Silicon Eve Valli. She's Silicon Eve Valli. And I'm going through what many call a midlife crisis. I don't personally think it's a midlife crisis. I think it's just me being my best self. There's a difference. I don't have money to buy an expensive, idiotic car. But I did have money to buy something that I've wanted since I was a child. And it was this right here, this replica Intercontinental Championship belt from WWE. And I got it, and I was really excited about it. And I wanted to share this moment with my daughter. Let's check out and see what happened.
Ladies and gentlemen, you are looking at the very, very best in the game right now. I am so great. You see this championship belt? They just don't hand these out. You can't just go down to the dollar store and get one of these. And ever since I won this championship belt, everyone has been wanting me to sprinkle a little bit of that magic Silicon Eve Valli dust on them. You got to pay to play. And Silicon Eve Valli likes the zeros, if you know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying, Daddy? All right, now your turn. Dude, my daughter's so excited that I got this.
Hi, my dad spent $250 on this toy belt, but I can get a PS5.
Yeah, not the proudest moment as a father. No. But anyways, we are going to be right back with Dr. Hank Finkel right here on the Silicon Eve Valli Show. Check us out. We'll also have some music at the end of this episode. And if you like what you see and you love positivity, you love love, you love kindness, you love gratitude, you love hard work, and you love honesty, you're going to get that stuff here. We are trying to heal the world one person at a time, 1 second at a time. That's what we're trying to do. And I can't think of a better guy to have and help curate that vibe than Dr. Hank Finkel. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be right back with Dr. Hank Finkel, author of Am I Still the Ocean? Can you believe my daughter acted like that? Shit, she watches TikTok videos for a damn 5-6 hours at a time, but I'm an asshole for having a bet. Oh, shit, that was supposed to be cut off. Hopefully I don't forget to edit that. Well, here's Dr. Hank Finkel if I don't. Thank you so much, folks. Here at Silicon Eve Valli Show. This is Silicon Eve Valli, and as I said, our host graciously welcomes one of the best people in the community that he's in, whether it be here in Collegeville, whether it be on the hippie scene, the dirty hippie scene. But he's also a brilliant chiropractor. But today we're going to talk about his book, Am I Still the Ocean? A brilliant children's book that I have been moved more ways than one. And we're going to get into it. So first, how are you doing today?
I'm doing well. Thank you, Steve. How are you?
I'm doing great. Dr.
Good.
Hank Finkel has been one of my favorite people since the beginning. So let's start out with this book. This book's awesome. I can't tell everybody. I've never been moved by a children's book in my life like this. And that's a shoot. And I'm not we talk about is honesty here, and I'm not bullshitting you. We'll get to that later.
I appreciate the kind words.
So let's get into how did you come up with this idea of how an ocean goes through this crazy journey?
Well, it's interesting that right off the bat that you call it a children's book, because I kind of myself think of it as a life lesson, but I use a children's book to get that across. Like my audience, even while I was writing it, was secretly the person reading the story to the child. I had a feeling that the children themselves, well, a lot of them, I think the age it's written for might be too young to even grasp it. And my secret hope was that the parents would have that aha moment while they were reading it and rediscover that lesson, and that it's the kind of story I feel that can be read again at different ages, and the kids can come back to it, or the parents can say, read this book again. I liked reading it to you when you were younger, and I think you might get something out of it now.
And I'll tell you what, you nailed it with me and my family and how we've enjoyed this book. So when did you decide, okay, I'm going to write a book? When did I had this idea? We're going to do it.
For a long time, I kind of thought I had a book somewhere in me that needed to come out. And I didn't know when, I didn't know what it would be about, but I always enjoyed books, reading them, the tactile holding them, everything about books I always enjoyed. And I thought one day it would be really something if I could put one out. I thought I had one in me. And in late 2019, I was thinking about what I wanted to do for 2020. Instead of thinking in terms of resolutions, I generally think in terms of intentions and goals. So, and I knew 2020 was going to be a big one for me because I was going to turn 60 in that year. So I had the thought, do something on your bucket list, take a little of the sting out of it, maybe even reinvent yourself, or do something big for turning 60. And then it came to me, let's set an intention and work on a book. That would be a huge accomplishment, something I'd be proud enough to take some of the sting out of turning 60. That's when I started formulating ideas and thinking what kind of book and learning the process of how to write a book, which I had no idea.
Shannon Haynie, she's related to you. Mm-hmm. How did she become a part of this and become just an absolute mistress of illustration in this book?
I think of it, it's really as much her book as mine. I think of it as our book because the artwork is so fabulous and such a key component to setting the vibe and setting the mood for the story. But I've written short stories in the past, and when this one hit the page, when I was done, I thought, you know what? Maybe that book that I'm thinking of will be a children's book. I'm going to send this to Shannon. She had 3 kids at the time. Now she has 4.
Shannon, get going.
Yeah, oh yeah. She's a homesteader. Yeah. And I didn't know if she would have time. I didn't know if she would. She's the first person register. I didn't know if it would strike her, and it did. And she appreciated having a project, a way, to focus on that wasn't just in the middle of the craziness of 3 kids and a pregnancy. So she did take it on, and she did a great job. And I had known her whole life. She obviously now she's in her mid-30s. She has 4 kids, but I'd known her whole life from the time she was 8 that she was a fantastic artist. And soon, like I said, soon as that, I put the pen down, I'm like, well, let me send this to Shannon, and if she wants to do some artwork, this might be the avenue to get the book out.
How did you come up with the idea of the story? Which is perfect. And we did an intro about it earlier on. Wow.
It's a funny thing. It came to me really complete. Like, I set the intention of writing some kind of book, and I started brainstorming on ideas, what kind of books I could possibly write. Comedy, chiropractic, health, what's my avenue, and what is it I am capable of putting forth, and what would I enjoy putting forth. And I was brainstorming, and a lot of it seemed really like I was struggling with my list.
Contrite? Would that be a word?
What's that?
Contrite? Was some of the ideas contrite?
No, it's not that. Too much. Honestly, it felt like too much work. I was working at it really hard, and I'm like, wow. And I sat down on my meditation cushion one day, and I just said, universe, make this easy. Just I just want to put I want to put something across that will connect people and let them remember what's important in life and that things are okay. And I just want to do a simple story. And I sat down and I meditated for 20 minutes, and I popped my eyes open, and I couldn't get to my notebook fast enough, and it just poured out in like 2 hours. I start to finish it and I edited it once or twice and sent it to Shannon, and I said, if she'll do something with it, we'll do something with this.
And it's not just a story, folks. This is it's a lesson, because there's moments in this, I'm sure this was intentional. There are always these philosophical questions throughout the book. Like a deep breath. Like, take a deep breath while you're reading this, because you're reading about heavy.
It's like a primer to meditation. I wanted to get because it's never too young to start that, to sitting in stillness, quieting your mind. It doesn't have to be meditation, but it's just better control of your own self, your mind and your body. Still your mind, still your body. And there's no age where that's appropriate to start. So I added little breaks of use your imagination, take a deep breath, imagine you're the ocean, you're the wave, you're the snowflake, whatever. And I think we kind of glossed over the fact that I used the water cycle as the metaphor for connection, and that as we change, we always come back to ourselves in the end, and
So we get into that process, the book is about, folks, and if you actually, why don't you explain? You're the author. Why don't we get the guy who actually wrote it opposed to some a-hole?
So the book is about the water cycle, but I use that as a metaphor for our connection to source, and an example or an analogy for the transformations that we go through life. And at times we may feel far from our source, but we're always still connected. And in the end, we always come back to source.
And it's funny, and I'll actually tell a story now. I told you off air, and this is a pretty genuine story, and I had it with your book. I've read your book about maybe a dozen times or so, maybe a baker's dozen for all you fish fans out there. And I read it this morning because I'm getting ready for the interview. And that one part of the book you're talking about is where at one point a part of the ocean becomes a stream. And this was already after some here you are, you're in an ocean.
Yeah. The wave, the snowflake.
It's just, it's amazing, and it's how we all kind of combine. So and I'm not going to get too much into it, but I've been dealing with a lot of reconciliation with my father. Mm-hmm. And he hasn't cared. He's been he hasn't been with us for 13 and a half years. But it's reconciliation I've been dealing with personally, and it's been extraordinarily healing. And this morning I read that. And so when the stream talks about he came from the ocean, I came from my father. And I have a lot of anger toward my father, and I would even use the word hate sometimes. And I realized I'm hating myself.
That's right.
And you're hating a lot of things that are beautiful about that man that
Right.
isn't me.
Right.
And
Right.
it was one of the most healing moments of my life. In
awesome.
fact, I would go
Wow.
so far to say it was the most healing moment I've ever had in a book.
Wow.
One of the reasons I was 10 minutes late, I was crying my eyes out. So there's that story.
Wow, that is a sad but beautiful story, man. That's
No, it's healing. It's
the
great.
healing is wonderful. That's great. I'm glad I could touch you, or
It
the
just
story touched you, or that's wonderful.
well, that's the thing. When we get hurt, and this is another part of this, we still have to remember where we came from, and it's just a beautiful part of that. So that was a moment I had.
Yeah.
And it's a great understanding of life. And as you said, it's not just a children's book.
Right.
And so
right.
that-
and you could, and you know, it's interesting. So once I released it or put it out, I started hearing different stories of different ways people interpreted it that I'd never seen or thought of. And it's a wonderful thing to see it take on its own life to touch people in different ways that it does. It's really remarkable. It's art. It's great.
So you get the paper, you get the book together, you have the artist. How'd you get it published? Was it self-published? Did you?
I self-published, and I had considered trying to get a publisher, but I knew somebody else who authored a book and really wanted to get out of their publishing house and the contract, and said if their next book they'd prefer to self-publish and to explore that further. So I did, and it seemed easy enough. Not easy, but I was like one step ahead. While Shannon was doing the artwork, I was learning what to do next, and you know, technology changed over the past 10 years, and I don't know that I would have been able to get it out 10 years ago, but now there's publishing on demand and print on demand rather, and it takes a lot of the fear and pressure out of it. And I got connected with a facilitator, if you will, who helped me edit and do the layout and put the graphics with the words and upload it to Amazon and Barnes and Nobles, and helped me with that aspect of it. And I learned, and now that one book is out and we're working on the next book, I know enough that I'm thinking of scrapping that whole process, and I'm exploring a new way of publishing and distribution for the next one, I think.
That's fantastic. You could talk about real briefly the technology that we're in right now. You could do whatever your dreams can come true.
If you are on the edge, if you're thinking about doing something like this, it's doable. I'm with. Like I said, print on demand, you don't have to invest to buy 10,000 books or 5,000 books and have them stacked up in your garage or basement and then deal with selling them yourself, which is what you had to do 10 years ago to publish and self-publish and sell a book. So now, you know, the whole process, like if somebody buys my book online, the whole process happens without me touching the book, and I just get my royalty in the mail.
Yeah.
And that's a beautiful thing. That's all I wanted. I didn't want to, you know, I didn't know what was going to come of this, but I wanted to get the book out. And now you can, like podcasts, like anything else, we can get stuff out now. And if somebody likes it or is interested, they can access it. It's beautiful.
It really, really is.
It's leveling. It's leveling.
Well, we taken the middleman out. It's like, you know, back in the day, you had to be really good and really lucky.
Right.
There's
have a lot of money.
Or have a lot of money. And now, you just got to be diligent. Mm-hmm. You don't even need to be good necessarily to be popular. You just need to be diligent and and work your ass off. Yeah. Hard work is one of the values as well. After writing this book, you reread it. What do you take from it as a reader who wrote it? You like that one? That was a curveball at you. It was a little.
Well, like I think I think I just answered that question in the last answer, in the sense that
I wasn't going to go.
I like now reading it and seeing what other people say in it. Like I had my idea when it was just mine, and now it's like, oh yeah, you know, it's a book of change. You know, teachers like it. The teachers really like it for the water cycle itself, for the straight up aspect of the science in it. And but teachers seem to really gravitate toward it as a gift for seniors, whether it's high school or college, and that really that's touched me a lot. That makes me pleased that people recognize that it's not just for kids. As I said at the beginning of all this, it's not just for kids,
and it's a beautiful
and it's not preachy. I deliberately, I'm not, my path is not to tell people what to do. That's why I think it's open to interpretation, and people take what they will from it. That was one of my goals, to leave it vague enough that people can do that.
Well, you had a balance, and I think this was intentional, but you can affirm you had a nice balance of spirituality on this side, and you had science on this side, where there's this really beautiful cohesion. Imagine that, if science and love and spirituality can all come together as one, it would be so amazing. And so there was a nice balance of both. Was that
the playground? Yeah, that's the playground I like to play in. Because we're living not only with technology, but we're living in an age now where science is validating a lot of this spirituality.
Yes.
With quantum physics and all of this, and if you take the religiosity and the dogma and that aspect out of it, there's a lot there that science can validate and live with.
For our viewers, and maybe me, what specific things are you talking about when you talk about the kind of science it's backing up? Because I heard it and I believe in it.
Well, I heard something today on a podcast about meditation that I thought was really interesting, and that was that a lot of people meditate for different reasons, and corporations will give meditation courses for productivity or stress management. But one of the things across the board that's been proven is there's been a study that meditation makes people more compassionate, and it's a great way to make a better world if you extrapolate that. And the study was done using people deliberately sabotaging their computers and then sending in an IT guy to fix it for them, and they were so filled with gratitude. Actually, this is a gratitude study, but what they did two groups, a group that meditated and a group that didn't meditate, to see if the difference. So both groups were filled with gratitude that the IT guy fixed their computer. Then they arranged for them to run into that guy again somewhere else where he needed a favor from them, and asked them for help. And I was surprised. Only 50% of the meditators were happy to help him, but only 15% of the people that didn't have that meditation course were willing to help him. So they found out further that the group that was willing to help were willing to help other people as well throughout the day. Yep. They put other people in there that didn't help them, but they were in a pay it forward kind of mode. That gratitude spilled over not just to the guy that helped them, but to other people as well. So that's powerful. So there's a study that struck me where science is proving meditation and spirituality, all that stuff, has value and can increase, let's say, compassion and empathy in this situation. So there's one study.
I'll tell you what, and to piggyback off of what you just said, I mean, a lot of people think there is a consciousness awakening more and more in the mainstream. I am one of those people. We hear so much about all the negatives. We've had a couple of divisive leaders recently.
Sure. And also it scares a lot of people when it happens too much too fast. But here's another area where science can validate this spirituality or this law of attraction stuff, manifestation stuff. And we've talked about this before, you and I know, the reticular activating system in the brain. It's a physiological part of the brain. It's a structure like the amygdala or the brainstem itself. The reticular activating system is our filter that validates our beliefs. So whatever you believe, this part of your brain tries to validate that for you, and it doesn't judge. So if you have feelings of worthlessness, it's going to make you feel more worthless. If you change the way your beliefs about yourself and can suddenly find worthiness, it will begin to show you more things that make you feel worthy. And whether it's worthiness or gratitude or love or abundance or whatever it is, that thing, that system that we all have is going to make you feel like, yeah, I'm right about that. Yeah. I was right all along. I am a loser. Or I was right all along. I'm a winner.
Yeah.
So, that's another, it's science.
Yeah.
It's not belief. But it's science validating your beliefs.
Exactly. Which is beautiful. And that goes us right back into the balance of this. That's why this book, it really transcends. It looks like a kid's book when you look at it, Yeah. But if you read it and you really, really give it the moments, and I've had several moments where today was the most powerful, but I've teared up sitting with my daughter, like Sunday morning, nice cozy Sunday morning, and we're cuddling on the thing, and I'm like, hey, can I read you my friend's book? And she's like, okay. And she loved it, every second of it. And she's too cool for school now. She's 10 years old. She's like,
oh, that's the right age. She gets the water cycle, and she can grasp.
She loved it.
Yeah, that's the right age. I found out. I didn't know when I wrote it what age group would. I pictured it like people reading it to their kids in bed, but I knew those kids in bed wouldn't be getting it. But I didn't know if it would be 5-year-olds, 6-year, but it does seem to be like 7, 8, 9, 10-year-olds where they start to like get it.
Yeah, and what's cool is that, and this with children, you can kind of mind, okay, let me give this person the most support. And if you can, as a parent, and all the parents out there, you got to do this. Let go. Your kid's going to be their own selves. It's hard. It's like, that's my little mini-me. And it's just, no, they're not. They're their own selves. And they want to be their own selves. And you're holding on. It's
that's right. That's good advice right there.
Yeah. So I'm trying to give her the tools to be the happiest person she can be, not the happiest she can make me. Which is
right. That's beautiful. Yep.
You know what I mean?
Good, man.
So you have another book on the horizon? Is that what I heard?
I have a story that I sent to Shannon, and she's happy with it, and I'm waiting for some artwork.
We got any details about the story, or you want to hold off?
No, I don't mind. It's a good companion piece, I feel. I think this is going to wind up being a trilogy. I have a third idea, and I think we're progressing. I think this one is about an acorn that has to become an oak tree, and it doesn't know how it's ever going to make that transition and how that's going to happen. So what I think this trilogy is going to progress from, I think it's going to go from like terra to flora to fauna. So the first one was about just like earth and sky and water, and there were no living creatures. This one's about plant life, and the third one I think is going to be some kind of like creature development. So going from just the land to plant life to animal life.
Well, you're covering the first couple elements right there. I think you got to,
right,
what I mean?
Right.
So
You
just need fire. Stay away from fire. It's dangerous. I heard it's going to end the world. I don't know. Let's say if you're. So that's incredible. So you have a series now. Are you going to retitle it a certain series, or you're not there yet?
I think it'll just be a trilogy. Yeah, I don't have it as a. Yeah, I don't have a title for the trilogy as yet. But I think this one's going to be something like how do I become an acorn? How do I become an oak tree?
So you're building your niche here, where you're telling these beautiful stories. I don't know who else is doing this. You're telling these beautiful stories, mixing some real adult themes, but told in a specific way. And you're giving a little bit of the spirituality, a little bit of the science. Yeah. And so you are actually learning science. You're not just being entertained. You're learning science, and you're learning about spirituality. Right. That is incredible. I don't know if anyone's done that, at least the way you've done it.
And I just like, using these as launching pads for your daughter to ask questions or for you to probe what she thinks about this, that, or, you know, what'd you think about that part, or, you know, that kind of stuff. I think both of these stories foster conversation.
Definitely do with me. It's always a point, and I actually, after we read your book with my daughter, as I said, hey, so do you get what they're doing here? You get what happened? She's like, yeah. Oh my God, that's crazy. That is a crazy adventure. Imagine in your lifetime being on a mountaintop. That's right. Being part of the ocean, being part of a stream that is the home for all these aquatic animals. It's just, you guys have to check it out, and we will have more information on the book. You can click the link, which will show you in the comments where you can buy. So yeah, folks. So. And I Am Still the Ocean. It is going to be on Amazon.com. Where else can we find it?
Barnes & Nobles, Kobo.com, and my website, HankFinkel.com.
Want to make sure we're getting that real nice. I'm also going to put a lot of video. Dude, I'm going to put a whole picture.
Some glare there coming through the window, I think, now. But, yeah.
There's the book, and there you go. There's a better spot of it. Isn't that a beautiful graphic? Don't you love that?
I know. I love it. That is awesome.
I'll try to get the boobs out of there, though. It's just this beautiful children's book, and then boobs right next to it. I was actually thinking on that previous story, wouldn't it be funny after the fact? I have a really off-color joke after I tell you with tears in my eyes about my father. I decided against it, keeping it classy for Dr. Hank Finkel.
Thank you.
You know what I mean. So, but check this book out, guys. Amazon.com, everywhere. He said we're going to have links to where you can buy this in the description. And Dr. Hank, we are so grateful for you coming.
I appreciate it.
Guest number 2. I am so excited. And please, guys, if you like anything, where we can check you out, you have a HankFinkel.com.
HankFinkel.com.
You can get up to date on everything he's working on. He's coming out with another amazing. It's exciting for me because this book.
I
love it.
Enjoy it.
Oh my God, moved me. So thank you so much, Dr. Hank. You're outstanding.
Pleasure.
And hey guys, if you like what you see, go to HankFinkel.com, and we'll be right back with some music.
All right.
Eve Valli here, and I just wanted to. We talk a lot about on the Silicon Eve Valli show about gratitude, and I just had a moment listening to a really awesome David Byrne song called "Life Is Long," and just kind of had me crying here a little bit. I don't mind to say it, and just one thing we're going to talk about is gratitude, and one thing it hurts, but it's beautiful is when you get broken by gratitude. Like you're just sitting there and you're, oh God, I'm so grateful. And it's tears, But I'm an emotional whack job, and I just got off Zoloft, so there's that.
Everybody says that living is easy. I could barely speak 'cause my head's in the way. Tigers right behind me, there to remind me that I'm lost, but I'm not afraid. Life is long if you give it away, so stay, don't go, 'cause I'm fading away. So keep on, in the window you see chains me down, but I am so free. People on the outside, I remember sweet times. This old rose is always in bloom. Everybody's happy to be a baby daddy. Start along with nothing to lose. Life is long if you give it away. So stay, don't go, 'cause I'm fading away. So from the window you see it shame me now, but I am so free.
song is always brings a lot of tear to my eyes. It's a bittersweet kind of vibe to taking a look around at the people that really matter to you. And the song has kind of got me broken by gratitude this morning. So I want to thank Mr. Byrne. And there's a lyric here that said, "Life is long if you give it away." I got it for the first time this morning. And again, broken by gratitude. Just tears. And I'm still broken by gratitude. So that's good. Now I can say those 3 little words, and every day I'm dreaming a world so and so. The window you see brought me down, but I am still free. Life is long and you give it away, so stay, don't go, 'cause I'm fading away. From the window you see, turn me down, but I am still free. Stay grateful, my friends. And maybe next time I'll hit that last chord correctly. We'll see you guys next week. Thank you so much. And we want to thank Dr. Hank Finkel. Check out I Am Still the Motherfucking Ocean. That's not that's not part of the title. The motherfucking part is not part of it. It's just am I still the ocean? It's a really good family book. There's no F-bombs in the entire thing. Just want to make sure we're clear on that. But seriously, thank you so much to a mentor and a friend, Dr. Hank Finkel. Please go check out the book. You will not be disappointed, and you can get it really good deals online, folks, and it is a beautiful moment you will have with your children and your family. I promise you that. All that, please like this video, share this video if you like it that much, and then what you can do is, my personal favorite, subscribe to the YouTube channel, because we're going to be keeping on putting out content. We're just getting started. Episode 2, check us out next week, where we will have another amazing, inspiring guest. Also, please check out the Anthony Ravello story, Ravello Strong, documentary and YouTube series that we're working on right here on the Silicon Eve Valli Show. We're really excited about that, in a good way. Anthony's story is going to be told. He is a very inspiring, strong, bad motherfucker, and we're going to tell the story of him beating a really shitty disease. All right, see you guys later. This is Silicon Eve Valli. Here endeth the lesson.